All right, everybody, Nate Hicks with Painted Arrow Outdoors. I'm a Joe Blow. I'm a nobody, just like you, and we're going to figure out how to manipulate property together. This is a chunk of property I bought in May. We're standing on my property right now, and it's a 70 acre chunk, and it's basically 95% timber, just timber and swamp. And we have no food, and we're gonna do a lot of manipulating of the property to try and make this a dream habitat whitetail property. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm hoping that you're gonna enjoy it and learn some things from it. Are we filming? We're going. So basically, you are a logger.
Yeah.
And you just give us an intro, like who you are, what you do, where you're from.
Well, David Minder. I've worked in the forestry business for 20 some years probably, and I give people advice on what they want to do.
So in terms of like hunting, most people I think that are gonna be watching this are interested in the, from the hunting aspect. Like, you've done this before, you've done this for a while. What are like the main reasons, I guess, that somebody would want to call a logger like yourself?
They call me because they want to know, is this the the valuable trees? Can I take out the unvaluable trees? Can I cut the junk? Should I hinge cut it? Should I harvest it?
So for the purpose of this today, what we're going to do is basically I started clearing what I thought was going to be a really successful food plot. It didn't do very well. So been here since May, it's now December. That area I want to expand upon in a big way. So a big reason why I want you to be here today is to tell me, hey, before I just start cutting trees and burning them, is there anything that you can give me for them? Is there anything that you can assist me or give me valuable advice?
Right.
And then if there's anything else out there that you see that you like tell me. Like, I don't know the first thing about this. So I wanted to take a moment, guys, and really show you on the map system what the property looked like, because going forward in the series that we're about to show to you guys, it's gonna be very important to understand kind of what we're talking about. So just a general overview, you can see this entire outline here. This is the 70 acres that I purchased. It's mainly all timber, and you can see I got these two chunks here. One's like a trapezoid and one's kind of like a long snake. These are just the wetland areas. So there are opportunities seasonally to go in there and cut and make a difference. But for the most part, these are pretty wet areas. But when I truly started this endeavor, my goal was to go in to the woods and clear openings, let more sunlight to the ground. And I started on this spot right on this hill. So there's two high points on the property. One's here and one's here. Those are definitely the two highest elevation points on the property. But right here is kind of where I started cutting trees on my own, just going in on weekends. I have a chainsaw, I had a tractor, and this was just like a natural clearing to begin with. So it was a good place to start. I knew I was gonna get good sunlight in there if I could kind of just take some of the trees out. As I got into this project, I soon realized that, man, I was gonna be in for a lot of work, and I just didn't have the time. So that's when I gave Dave a call and I said, hey, Dave, you do this every day. You've walked hundreds of properties, hundreds of thousands of properties probably, and I'd like you to come over, take a look at the woods. I had zero idea about timber value, what trees were valuable. I hadn't had actually a great time identifying trees. I wasn't very good at it. So I just wanted to talk to somebody before I got into this, to a point where, man, I get injured, or I just waste a lot of my time. I'm just spinning my wheels kind of thing. So I called Dave, and as you'll find out, this project just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. Well, I say we go for a walk, and I want to learn how to measure a tree. I'm pretty excited. So
yeah, for sure.
Let's do this.
See the difference in this oak and that oak?
The bark, yeah.
Okay, see how this has, like, they call them plates, like the long plates of bark in it? This would be like a true red oak. See how that one's got the blockier bark?
Yep.
And it's more chopped up? That's gonna be a black oak.
And then the white
lesser
oak.
Value, more value.
Red is more than
black. Yep.
And white is more than red.
And white is more than red.
Like, can we measure this? Show me how you measure this.
So what I would do, let's have it to tap on it just because it'll sound hollow if I tap on it. But
so it's not hollow.
It's 20 years of doing it.
So
no, it's not hollow.
An untrained ear could not identify if it was hollow or not?
Oh, you'd be able to tell. So you hold it up like this, chest height. You line up this edge of the stick with that side of the bark, right?
Yep.
So you're looking at 19 inches. You don't move your head, you don't do this, you just look across. So
I saw it, but it looks...
Just hold it like this and line up, just set it that edge on that edge, and then just look straight across and it should line up with a 19.
Yeah,
you don't have to close an eye, but you can.
I think I'm seeing double. So is this a tree that you'd, like if I was like, yeah, if you want it, take it kind of thing?
Yeah, it would just depend after I walk the whole property.
If it's worth it.
This might be something that would be harvested or not.
So that's a really good point. So is it possible we'd walk this whole thing, or you walk a client property and be like, hey, there's just not enough here for me to get involved?
Yeah, normally what I do is I meet like we're meeting. We go through the property, we talk about what you're wanting to accomplish. We go to the back of the property. So as I'm walking, I'm looking at all the different species, the different sizes, what you have. And then by the time we get to the back, I know whether it's worth getting out the paint can and putting marks on stuff and then, picking trees to be harvested. And then normally what we do is we go through, we mark the trees for harvest. We come up with a list. We give you a list of how many black oak, red oak, white oak, cherry, hickory, basswood.
It's a whole thing.
Cottonwood. We give you that, and then we give you a total price for everything, and then that's what you're paid. And you get paid all your money up front before we do anything.
Really?
Yeah. Everything here's got value. I mean, I can do something with it. When you get real small like that one, it's going to be just mainly a firewood, which would be cut into, 14 or 16 foot lengths and just piled up, and then.
But you can still use it.
Yeah.
Anything that's going to limit the sunlight in here, I want to just take it out.
Okay.
I really do. That might be a.
And when you do the select cut, you want to do a real good species mix. A lot of guys will come in, all they want is your white oak, all they want your walnut, all they want your veneer trees. They won't take any hickory, they won't take any basswood, they won't take any of the off-species stuff because they can't do anything with it. And that's not real high money maker for them. But in a situation like this where you're trying to manage the property, you have to make sure that you do a good species mix in order to manage the timber the way it needs to be cut.
All right, guys, so I don't know if you caught that, but everything has value. That's really key in this specific project and going forward. But if you're looking at your woods and you're wondering what has value, what doesn't, everything has value. It's just finding the right person for the right job and getting it in the right hands. So in terms of species, I learned a lot on that little journey. Black oak, red oak, white oak, and then walnut. In that order, it's typically your more valuable species in the Midwest. Those are very common species out there. And it's obviously going to fluctuate in terms of demand and the market, but that's a really good just general rule of thumb in terms of value a tree. And you'll find out more in the future episodes of what they're actually going to pay out. We'll go into full depth on that, but everything has value, and that's really important going forward. So this, what is your mind like when you're doing this? Like, what do you?
Well, I'm trying to envision. I can see what you want this to look like. So what I'm looking at now is like, okay, we're going to make this a food plot. How are you going to hunt it with different wind directions? Where's your bedding going to be? Is your bedding down there in that swamp that we passed? Is your bedding over here in a swamp that we passed? How do you approach it? Where are you going to put your switchgrass? What are you going to, there's all those things that enter into it.
But are you are you just mentally taking count of all the trees that we're walking by?
Yeah, what we would do is if you said, hey, we're going to do this, I would come back with a can of paint and I would dot every single tree that I scale.
Picture. Let's do that.
I've got a handheld computer. I punch it all in. When I get all done, all the footage is there. Everything.
Takes you how long to do that?
If I did this whole property, it'd take me probably a day.
What does the time frame typically look like? Are you trying to cut during a certain
for harvesting?
Yeah.
Like if we started on this and let's say there was 200 trees to cut, we'd finish it in probably 10 days. We'd be in and out of here in 10 days.
Really?
Yeah, we'd cut probably 40 or 50 of these a day. By the time we got them cut, marked, hauled, and everything out, it wouldn't take very long. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand too that they all worry about, oh, I can't have you in there during deer season. Don't come to cut my property then. I've seen more big bucks get killed when we get in our cars and leave than...
Because they like to come to eat the leaves.
Yeah, I mean, they might be laying in there while you're cutting and just sitting there, and you get in your car and the skidder leaves and quiets down for 10 minutes and here they come.
So something that's really important that I learned throughout this entire project is that it's very important to clearly articulate your goals to somebody coming in to look at your property, such as Dave. Dave, he was a hunter, he is a hunter, and it was really easy for me to communicate to him kind of my goal and my vision. But, you know, walking through the timber, it's hard to have vision to really be able to picture what it's going to look like. And, you know, cutting trees, it's one of those things where once they're cut, right? So the location of this food plot started on that knob, and as it slowly grew with knowing that each tree brings value, and you start talking dollars and you start, you know, scaling trees and getting a count for what everything's going to be worth, that plot slowly started to grow. And it's, again, I can't speak to how important it is to clearly articulate the goal, ask all the questions up front. How long is the project going to take? Can I be involved? And from personal experience, you want to be involved. If you're somebody who owns a piece of property, you're thinking about logging it, be as involved in every step of the process as you can, because, you know, not only does it give you peace of mind, but the actual folks coming in to do the cutting, the loggers, everybody that's a part of the process, they actually really expressed to me how much they enjoyed me being a part of the process, because it gives them clarity as well. Everybody knows what they're doing. They know what your expectations are. Everybody's on the same page, and it's helpful if you can be there. So again, just be a part of the process and just take note of everything going on. The way that I'm looking at this is, like you're saying, a really, really basic way to look at, you take the tops out, you look up in the sky and you see all these leaves. The sun's getting to the floor. I want to see more of this stuff, right?
Oh, for sure.
Because this is what the deer are eating.
Yeah,
and over, you know, the period of 2 or 3 years, it gets really thick, and you can just look at the places that have already been logged in here, and you can see it.
Right. Every acre that you clear, typically, it creates about 2,000 pounds of browse for the deer.
Per acre.
Per acre. We should pick some trees, some mass trees to leave in the food plot. I always encourage that, because, you know, a deer's gonna walk through and, you know, let's just say clover, you plant clover, a deer's gonna walk through and it's gonna have enough fill of its clover. You know, it's gonna be like, okay, I wanna go eat acorns, so it's gonna go off on that ridge and eat acorns. But if you've got, you know, that little white oak right there, that's a nice tall straight tree, we put some ribbon on that, that doesn't get cut, but everything around it gets cut. That one over there we leave, and we leave 2 trees per acre. It's gonna drop those mass acorns on the ground, and that's going to help. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's going to look a little different, you know, to you, but the thing is people got to understand that when you're doing that, that's what it takes. For wildlife, that's what it takes. Red oak.
Looks like a nice long straight one. The deer I shot this year died like right at the base of that tree. So this a red oak here? Yep. All right, so that's going to conclude, I think, this first initial walkthrough. I learned a lot. I didn't know.
That's the whole goal.
Yeah, there's a lot of just things you wouldn't think about typically. So I think a lot of people are going to glean a lot of information just from hearing the banter and the back and forth conversation. But Dave, really appreciate it. Is there any information you want to give listeners if they want to get in touch with you in terms of logging their property?
Well, basically, phone number. It's about 517-206-1075.
And the areas that you're
Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois.
Awesome.
Those 4 states, basically. And I go all the way up north. So I go all the way up to Sheboygan. I go up to, you know, the Thumb, Lapeer, all that. So I go everywhere.
Awesome.
So it's not a big deal. You're never too far away, basically.
I would highly recommend it. Like you said, it's free to get a quote. So.
All right. Well, we'll come back and we'll mark it and we'll see what we come up with, and then, like you said, we'll do a portion of the property and then see how it responds. And if it doesn't respond exactly how you want, we'll do more. If it does, then we'll do another area or whatever over the years.
Do you recommend before somebody calls, it'd probably be a good idea to sit down and look at their property and be like, yeah, I probably want to take some of this area, maybe not this area, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a good idea what you want to do, if you don't have any idea, then, call me. I'll print an aerial map of the property and we'll sit down and go over it ourselves. Walk it, look at it, look at the ridges. I've deer hunted since I was 12.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I've had a big farm and I've done a lot of food plots for people and a lot of timber harvests to try to make wildlife habitat for people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, it's starting to sprinkle, so I think we call it, but I appreciate it, man.
All right,
It's
thanks.
been awesome.
Yep, appreciate it.
See you guys. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that episode. Just wanted to catch you at the end. This is gonna be Painted Arrow's first true series. So we're gonna be doing an entire encompassing series on this project and showing you guys the before and the after. It's really cool. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and shoot us a comment. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. We really appreciate that feedback. So subscribe and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.